I ran 100 solo lost sectors to see how many exotics would drop, and let's just say the results are probably not what you would expect. In your experience with legend lost sectors, what do you think the drop rates are?
1 in 15, honestly.
Somewhere between 4 to 6.
Yeah, I would say maybe 1 in 10.
But before we get into the drops, let's discuss the potential factors that determine drop rates. First is difficulty. Each lost sector has two difficulties, Legend and Master. Legend says if you are solo, you get exotics at a rare drop rate, and Master says you get them at a common drop rate. The trade-off here is that Legend is much easier and thus faster to complete. The other factor that affects drop rate is Platinum rewards. To get this, you simply have to kill all champions that appear. If you don't, you probably won't get anything. For the purposes of this video, I decided to go with Legend difficulty for all 100 lost sectors, and I made sure to not only kill every champion, but kill everything. This shouldn't affect anything, but I wanted to do this to maintain consistency between runs. When I started my journey, the daily lost sector was Aphelios Rest. This was perfect for me because this is one of the fastest lost sectors to complete. After I got the hang of things, I was able to run this in roughly 3 minutes each time. But despite this being fast, it took me forever to get my first exotic. 12 lost sectors without a single drop. Yes, 12 with 0 exotics. So I understand why people think the drop rates are less than 10%. But thankfully, my luck started to turn around after that. Run number 13, 15, 17, and 20 each gave me an exotic. So basically one every other run. But 4 and 20 is still not great. After wasting over an hour on those 20 lost sectors, I took a break for a few days and waited for Chamber of Starlight. Chamber of Starlight is the fastest lost sector by far. If you go as fast as possible, killing only the champions, you can run these in under a minute, so it felt like the best use of my time. But keep in mind, I was clearing the whole room, so it took me about 2 to 3 minutes per run. I completed another 20 full runs using this lost sector, and there were a couple dry spells, but I was able to get a total of 7 exotics from those 20 runs. I even had 3 of them drop back to back. Unfortunately, I didn't have much free time the rest of that day, so I decided to stop after 20. Up to this point, I've gotten 11 exotics out of 40 lost sectors, which is starting to seem more reasonable. After that day, I waited and waited and waited until finally Chamber of Starlight came back. Once again, this is the fastest lost sector, so if I didn't wait and I decided to farm another lost sector, this would take upwards of 3 hours longer than it needed to be. And since it only comes around once every 10 days, I knew I needed to grind. And so I did. In one day, I completed the remaining 60 lost sectors as fast as I could. I even tweaked my loadout by using ammo reserves for extra sleeper simulant ammo, and I added ways to get volatile rounds on my funnel web to clear the groups of acolytes faster. These changes were able to cut down my time to under 2 minutes per run. After all was said and done, these are the results. 17 of those 60 dropped exotics, just under a third. But if you notice, there were still a lot of times where I went 5 or 6 runs with no drops. More on that in a minute. But if you are enjoying this video, please leave a like, it helps a ton. Now, if we combine those 60 with the rest, we have a total of 28 exotic drops out of 100 lost sectors. With this data, I would say the drop rates are about 1 in 4. Even though 100 lost sectors is a lot, it's hard to say for certain with such a small data set. However, if you do a quick Google search, you'll find this Reddit post about a guy who did something similar. He ran 1,600 lost sectors and had similar results. He ended up getting 393 exotics out of those 1,600, which was about a 24.5% drop rate, or 24.76% if you combine my 100 with his. In other words, you have a 1 in 4 chance for every legend lost sector to drop an exotic. But don't get me wrong, you aren't guaranteed anything. Just like I did in the beginning, you could run 12 with nothing. You could theoretically run 100 lost sectors and get nothing. As Legionless stated in his post, you're rolling a 4-sided dice at each chest, hoping to land on the right side. So I decided to ask a few of my friends what their longest streak was without getting an exotic.
It was 35. I mean, I think maybe it was less than that. It was like 20.
12, I think.
I'd say about the same. Like I ran 10, 12 something times.
Some of those are just unacceptable. No one wants to spend hours of their lives farming for exotic armor. Now, there is one solution for this problem that I know Bungie can implement. Just give us drop protection. What this means is that if they actually want the drop rates to be 1 in 4, when you run 3 lost sectors without getting a drop, the 4th one is guaranteed to drop an exotic. We've seen them time after time create activities like this that don't have drop protection. Then we as the community speak up, and they change it. They recently did this with red bordered weapons from Wellspring, but for some reason it hasn't happened to lost sectors yet. Now, if you agree with me, please share this around the Destiny community to get more attention on the issue, and like the video so it can spread to more people. I don't want anyone wasting an hour running 12 lost sectors just to get no drops like I did. Keep in mind this is only for legend lost sectors, Masters could be better, but I found no evidence on the internet indicating that, so let me know if you want me to investigate further. Now, drop rate isn't the only issue. If you farm lost sectors, you're either looking for new exotic armor or good stat rolls on exotic armor. There's already some protection to ensure you get new exotics, but stat rolls are completely random. Of the 28 exotics I got, I only kept 2 of them. The rest kinda sucked. The worst part is that they were both Starfire Protocol, which is cool and all, but what if I wanted Chromatic Fire? How many of those did I get? 0. Granted, I only ran 60 lost sectors on the chess piece day, but still. It's RNG on top of RNG on top of RNG. I'm not sure why armor needs to be so rare. As it stands currently, lost sectors are a decent way of getting new exotic armor, especially for solo players, but I can't recommend farming them for better rolls unless you enjoy wasting your own time. A better way to spend your time would be by getting a few of the most popular weapons, which I just covered on my channel. Check it out.